Thank you, everyone, for downloading this episode of the Nerd Ball Podcast. I am in my basement, as always, but it's starting to feel comfortable down here. Maybe too comfortable, and I'll never get the in-person videos again. But I need a studio anyway. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. This is going well. Finding people seems to be a lot easier. People obviously love to be at home and be in their own environment. Obviously, audio and video isn't as good. But hey, people are comfortable. They're willing to talk. Maybe they talk more. So I'm good with that too. So I'll be here probably until at least football season, because it's such a lot, all the time, right? So football season, I'll still be in my basement doing podcasts, but again, it's going well. 200 episodes coming up. Still don't have a damn idea on what I want to do, if anything special. Maybe I just put out an episode and I say, hey, here's 200. It's nothing special. It's so-and-so. Now, whoever's on that episode is like, oh, I guess I'm nothing special. So I got to figure something out. 3-year anniversary is coming up too, so I'm excited about that. Thank you all for listening all the time. It's great hearing from you. If you want to email the show, email the nerdballpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to reach out, you can reach out to any of the social medias, the Nerdball Pod on X, which I might be getting rid of because apparently it's going to start costing costing money every month, paying a subscription. So I don't know how that's going to work, but I already lose money on this every month, so I don't want to add like an extra thing. I'm on Instagram, the Nerdball Podcast, Facebook, Nerdball Podcast. Check those things out. Like the page on Facebook. I think I'm over 400 people now, which is pretty cool. I'm over 120 subscribers on YouTube, so check that out. Search the Nerdball Podcast on YouTube. Please like, share, review, subscribe, all those things wherever you listen to this thing. Tell me about, maybe shoot me an email on your favorite episode, or a message, or a text. And again, I appreciate you all for listening all the time. It's a cool thing, and I'll put my giant hat on. I haven't worn my hat in a while, but maybe I need to bust this thing out every once in a while. But this episode coming up is a friend of mine. I coach with him. I coached with his wife last year during basketball season. He's a good dude. He came on in like a 4 hours notice, so it was fun to sit and talk with him and go over a bunch of different things. So without further ado, here's my guest.
This is Ben Marshall, and this is the Nerdball Podcast.
This is the Nerdball Podcast with Lorenzo Melcher.
All right, Ben Marshall, thanks for hopping on my podcast last minute, as always.
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm here for.
I have a tendency to do recently. It was nice though. I didn't record at all Sunday, so that's why I'm recording a Monday night with you, so I can put one out Thursday. But I didn't record anything on Sunday morning, which is, I haven't done that in a long time, and it was freeing a little bit,
Yeah, freeing was the word I was expecting you to say.
Yeah, it was nice. Well, partly I didn't do it because I wasn't sure what time our softball games were going to be, and I had to be at the field by 11. I was like, well, I'm not going to do one at 9 and then try to hustle out of here in time. So, but now I have people I can just say, hey, can you do a podcast in 4 hours? Yeah, I can.
Exactly, and that's what we're here for, Lorenzo. We're here to serve you and this podcast that you make so much money on.
And we'll see if we can actually put this whole episode out. So that'd be good too.
Yeah.
Mysterious Ben episode.
Let's have another lost episode.
Yeah, that got pulled after, I think there was like 6 downloads. So
yeah, in fact, Mr. Bohr, Jack Bohr's dad, was one of the people that had listened to it. So I knew that's one down.
Oh, did he say anything about it or no?
Yeah, he did. And I told him, I was like, oh, you did a good job on the podcast. And I was like, oh, thanks. You're one of the few that listened to it. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, it got pulled down.
It got pulled. Like, we had some issues, just audio issues. That's all.
Yeah,
some audio issues. Yeah,
he was able to figure it out though. He guessed, like, oh, is it the new thing? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Do your kids ever? Well, as you can see behind me, I got a bunch of sports stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, a bunch of sports stuff behind me. So my kids, every once in a while, will bring me stuff to put on the shelf. Like I think Mateo, I don't know if where they're at. I think there's some football cards right here. There's some football cards that he got, like he opened a pack of cards and got some, like, and they're Cowboys, so I put them up there. And then Lillian brought me this Michael Gallup. She goes, here, I got, my friend gave it to me and I thought you'd like to put it on your shelf. I'm like, all right, cool.
That's cool.
So I don't know. Do your kids ever like bring you stuff that's besides stuff that they make, but stuff that they think that you would like?
Uh,
Just like random
I don't know if
things.
they bring I don't know if they bring me stuff to keep, but, like, they'll show like, well, it's similar to the card thing, like, Sonny knows that, like, I'm a Lions fan, and
Uh,
I made him the Lions fan, so he when he, like, opens up packs of cards and he's like, "Oh, look, it's Barry Sanders," or whatever, and I'm like,
yeah.
"Dude, that's awesome, you gotta hang on to that thing and stuff." I don't know, I'm trying to think. Uh, I
They
don't
don't,
know.
yeah, they don't
Yeah,
do it much. They don't. I mean, they've done it a few times, or Pokemon cards or something they'll bring home.
yeah.
But
Well, I'm just
yeah,
not a huge nerd like you, so I don't have collectibles.
I am. I am. I don't know. I don't know. Tell you. Did you collect baseball cards and football cards and stuff when you were younger?
No, in fact, I was, like, heavily influenced by my older brother, Andrew,
Hmm.
and he was such a I don't know, he's, like, so it's like he's, like, anti-establishment or whatever anti-popular things. So, like,
Okay.
anything that was, like, big and like, he hated, like, Pokemon, he hated, uh like, we loved like, music was a big thing, so we loved music, but we only listened like, he only listened to, like, Metallica and, like, bands that were not, like, mainstream. I mean, Metallica's obviously a pretty well-known heavy metal
Yeah.
band, but, like, they're not, like, mainstream. Like, so, like, he hated Limp Bizkit and
Yeah.
Korn, or he didn't hate Korn, but whatever. I mean, like, all the dumb music that you listen to, he hated that. And so,
Dumb
anyway,
music.
because he was like that, I had a tendency to be more like that too. So I didn't. So I was like, and all my friends were like, "Oh, I got this new Pokemon." I'm like, "That's stupid.
Uh,
Pokemon's for losers," And I was negative because my older brother made me negative
I was
about that
negative.
stuff. It was funny though because then, like, I wanted to play soccer, not like over football necessarily, but when I was like younger,
Hmm. Hmm.
and he was like, "Soccer's for expl."
Losers.
Yeah,
Losers.
right. Bad word here.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh yeah, soccer's, it's a sissy sport. I'm not playing
Yeah.
soccer," and but like I'm pretty sure had he not been that kind of influence on me, I'm sure I would have ended up playing soccer, like,
Mm.
at least a little bit, and that type of thing. And so no, I didn't really get into Pokemon. I mean, we played video games. He
Yeah.
liked Metal Gear Solid. You remember
Oh
that
yeah.
game?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That
Those were
guy's name
sweet.
is Snake. I think
Yeah,
his name was.
Snake.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
My brother played a lot. I remember watching him play that game. Um, but you guys, I mean, you don't see me as like someone that has like collections of things at all. Like, do you?
no, not
Yeah.
really.
What if
Yeah.
your kid like because well, I just know you and Lexi, and you're kind of like I don't know if I'm like minimalist, but you guys don't have that kind of stuff. Like, what if are your kids get into like, hey, I want to collect these things or be like, is
It's
that
already
gonna?
It's
Is it?
already happened.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Sunny and Penny both have, like, a binder of Pokemon cards. Penny doesn't really care that much about it, but she
Hmm.
has it, and then Sunny has his too, although he's tried to sell it more recently. He's more into, like, sports cards now. He doesn't I mean, he does like Pokemon too, but he seems to like sports cards more. He's really into football right now and baseball.
Yeah.
So and he watches these YouTube videos you know, about football and baseball, and he learns all these things, and he knows more current players' names than I will ever know, and like tells me all these things about the football. I'm like, dude, I don't. That's awesome. I have no idea what you're talking about because I'm not paying. I don't pay that close of attention to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Mateo
But
does that too. He'll tell me like every day. He'll tell me, "Hey, the Guardians won or lost," and I don't even pay attention.
yeah,
But he'll like, yeah, he's super into it, which is cool, because I love sports, and if he
yeah,
likes it more than me, cool, whatever.
exactly.
So
My
you
thoughts.
you, you mentioned you made him a Lions fan. I feel like it wasn't that hard.
Well, you know what? It was a little bit of a struggle because he. I watched. So you know that documentary about Tom Brady. What's it called? Um, Man in the Arena or
Hmm.
something
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
So that came out there was like a 10-part series about Tom Brady, and I remember watching that, and he kinda started watching it with me because he just walked into the room or whatever,
Yeah.
and so by watching that documentary, he became a Tom Brady fan, and then, of course, he was playing for the Buccaneers, and they won the Super Bowl, and
Hmm.
so he became a Buccaneers fan,
Oh,
and I was like, "Okay."
like what do you do with? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, but you have to like the Lions because everyone else in this house likes the Lions. He's like, "Yeah, Lions are like my second favorite team." And then he even has and he still has like for flag football gloves that have the Buccaneers logo on them.
Uh,
But now he doesn't really care about the Buccaneers because Tom Brady's not. I mean, Tom Brady's retired, right? I don't even
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's retired, and they suck, and the Lions are good now. I mean, at least it looks like they might be good. So it's me and Lex are watching the Lions, and we're like going crazy watching them, and so he gets into that too. So
Well,
now
he
he's
wants to. Yeah, that I say he wants to be a part of it now. So like,
yes,
if they see you and Lexi cheering, so they're like, well, I want to cheer too. I want to be sad or happy or whatever, you know.
yeah, exactly. And I think that's a good point. I think that actually probably is what pushed him that direction because I think before me and Lexi were like Lions fans, but we weren't really watching that much NFL football or anything. We would sorry, my son's distracting me right now, actually.
That's all right.
So it's my wife's birthday tomorrow, so he's making a card for her and stuff, and
Oh,
so he's gonna
nice.
show me the card he made for her. It's actually pretty cool. It's a little
He can
pop-up.
be on the
Wanna see it?
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a
Oh,
little pop-up card.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That a lion?
So anyway, so we're like big Lions fans right now because starting last year, we started actually watching the games. We weren't really
Mhm.
watching before. They were always like doing yard work and stuff on Sundays and just not
Yeah.
paying any attention to it. And now we are. And so now you're right. Now he sees us getting excited about it. So he's excited about it too, I think.
It's always fun to cheer with other fans of whatever team you're cheering for.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like
It
we
makes
give
it
each other
yeah.
high fives and stuff.
Yeah, it makes everything so much better. I've talked about it before, but on the opposite end, I remember watching the Spurs win their first title in 1999, and we were at a bar in Toledo. Me, my dad, and my dad's friend, and they played the Knicks. And everyone else in there was rooting for the Knicks, and we were only three people rooting for the Spurs, and they won. And it was so quiet. It was me and my dad and his friend Bob, and we're just like high fiving and hugging each other. And
Yeah,
my uncle might have been there too, but it was just that was fun too because like
yeah,
I just like suck it, all of you, like
yeah, right. It's like, what now? What?
yeah. Hey, speaking of Lions, I thought that Cowboys and Lions played, and they do.
They do
So
play this
so
year,
we
yeah.
should get together, and it's on a Saturday night. It's a night game though.
Yeah, it's in December, right?
Yeah,
Or
December 30th.
oh, so it's the day before. It's New Year's Eve. I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
In fact, the reason I even know that is because we were just talking about this yesterday because my brother lives in near Austin, Texas,
Hmm.
and I we sort of like impromptu decided, me and Sonny, that we're gonna go down to Texas on January 19th because there's cheap tickets. We're like, all right, let's go. And
Yeah.
then it's the flight is from Cincinnati, and my other brother lives in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
And so not Andrew, but the other two. Anyway, and and I asked him, I was like, hey, since we're gonna have to come down to you anyway, what do you think about going to Texas? And he's like, uh, let me think about it. Hold on, let me get back to you. And so and it was like it's his son's birthday around that weekend actually.
Okay.
And I was like, well, yeah, well, let me take him too. I'm taking Sonny. He's like, oh, all right. And so he looked into it. And so he's going too. So
Wait, when are you guys going?
January 19th.
Oh, nice. Just
So
randomly?
yeah. So
All
anyway,
right.
so
Nice.
circling back to the Lions thing. So Sonny's like, wait, Dad, the Lions play the Cowboys in Dallas. And he's like, how far is Austin from Dallas? I'm like, it's probably like 2 hours or so. He's like, we should go to that. I'm like, well, what day is it? And he's January 30th. And I was like, it's a
December
holiday.
30th.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be December 30th. Yeah. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a more expensive ticket. And sure enough, it was. And
Yeah, I'm
so it's an
sure.
expensive plane ticket on top of the fact that the tickets to go to the game are expensive. I was like, that's not gonna happen. But great idea. I love it.
Yeah. I
So
mean, the kids will like it because they can stay up late
yes,
uh,
exactly.
and we can just eat a bunch of food.
Yeah, you should smoke some meat and
There you
cheese.
go. Yeah. Meat, cheese, Cheez-Its, all of it. Everything.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
gonna walk with my computer for a second so I gotta get the charger. It's gonna die on me.
Oh, okay. So do you guys make it besides my favorite? I'm sure she's not involved, but like do all of you sit around and like, hey, we're watching the Lions game and hang out?
Yeah.
Are
Well,
the kids still young enough where they just filter in and out?
they kind of. I mean, Sunny will watch with us.
Yeah.
Penny. I don't think Penny cares quite as much, so she does. She just kind of filters in and out. Marcy's same thing, but she pretends she's definitely drinking the Kool-Aid though. She's
You
like,
got to
"Go
get her.
Lions!"
You got to get her a little Lions cheerleader outfit.
Oh, we do. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. I can't find
Yeah.
the charger with this computer, but
Okay.
oh wait, never mind. It's over here. So she it's funny though because she's obviously so young. She's only 4 that she doesn't really know the difference. But she saw she sees the Cowboys or the Giants on and they're blue. She's like, oh,
Yeah.
the Lions game. I'm like, yeah. But yeah.
Whenever I talk about her being my favorite, it reminds me of the last time when you were on that. I think it was an actual episode when you were on, and you said that you're like, I do tell my kids which one is my favorite for that day.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. That
One
is.
of them,
I don't always do that.
I know. One of them's gonna have like a book under their mattress on the days that you picked that they weren't the favorite.
Yeah, and they're gonna bring it up.
Yeah,
Look
they'd
how
be like,
many
"Hey,
times I
Dad,
was the favorite, Dad. This is why I have all these problems.
it was never me. And Mr. Lorenzo only likes Marcy."
Yeah, exactly. Uh, holy crap. Okay, I am.
Hey, you just walking all over the place.
I just because I can't get to a good spot. There we go. All right, cool. But it's okay. You can still hear me. You can still kind of see me.
Yeah, you're right. You got a good mic. You're one of the few that have a good mic.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. Yeah. No, I mean, no one's going to have a mic when I say, hey, we're doing a Zoom podcast.
No.
My buddies do when we do the dad podcast. Everyone has a good mic now. So
Oh, that's awesome.
that's nice. Yeah.
Is it? Are they like mine? Or are they like more like yours, where they're like on
mine.
the desk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like mine. But it's nice having because what I found out, and maybe it's not so much when it's just when it's just me and a guest, but when it was me, Tyler, and Jimmy went the longest without having a mic. When he was talking, and then one of us that had a mic started talking, it like totally cut him off. Like just because I don't know why. It's just something Zoom does or whatever. But so then once you got a mic, then when we do cut him off on, when we're just talking, then, or if he tries to like butt in, like you don't hear him very well. So, now I can't hear you. No, I can't. I don't know what happened. You plugged it. You started charging your computer, and wait, there you go. I can hear you.
You hear me now?
Yeah. Oh, now I can't. No, I can't. What? Something happened. Is it a USB mic?
Now you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't. The mic's not working then.
Oh, it's not. Is that
Well,
charge?
it's because I'm trying to charge at the same time as using this, and so
It's
in the way. Whatever. That's fine. You can hear me, right? All right.
Yeah, it doesn't sound bad.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it sounds worse, but just not bad.
Yeah, I had such good audio quality. Now it's over.
Actually, it doesn't sound too bad. So maybe you weren't even using it to begin with.
Yeah, it was all an illusion. For sure. I thought it was I thought it has this little port on it that is for, you would think, I don't know what the hell, who knows. Whatever.
Well, that's what happens when someone asks you to be on a podcast in a short time notice. You can't get your stuff in order.
And you're also, not only that, yeah, that's true. I guess I could have had the computer charged beforehand, I suppose, but it's also, it's part of experimenting with new technology.
Yep. Every time. Like this new camera I have. This thing is night and day difference from my computer camera.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if let's see, we can experiment here. This is great for the podcast, but we'll see. Let me see if I just unplug it and what happens. Well, I disappeared, but
it just says Lorenzo Melcher now. Yeah.
But that's the camera.
Oh yeah, isn't that
crazy? Yeah. So then I'll put
funny.
I'll put the other one back in. But I noticed how bad my computer camera was, and then I bought this new one. I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome.
Oh yeah, that's a big difference.
It wasn't bad. It was only like $60, and it makes a huge difference for like the 3 people that watch the YouTube videos.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie, Lorenzo. I've watched the YouTube version of this podcast 0 times. So
that's I do it because some people like Bucher likes to watch. So
I probably would too. In fact, you know what? Lexi was watching the tight ends episode right before I came on here. I just went
really?
and I was like looking for the laptop. I was like, do you know what the laptop is? And she was on her phone watching the Hire and all those guys goof off on the podcast. So I haven't listened to that one yet.
That was fun. That was a good one. They make fun of Hire because like Hire, they always give him shit like you sound different. You sounded different on the podcast, and he did. He was a little more serious than he usually is.
He was changing his voice.
So that's what they're saying.
But I feel like he's so goofy 90% of the time that he's never using his real voice ever.
Dude, what I don't understand what's happening but they talk they talk like babies sometimes. I don't know if you ever heard, but like those three tight ends, maybe some other ones too, but I just noticed them, they'll talk like baby talk. And I don't know, it's so weird to me.
They are odd. They're odd people.
They are.
And I know isn't David Butterfield like a tight end in that group too a little bit? I feel like he gets
Yeah,
involved
they're
in
all friends. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say that. I feel like they all are. That's so cool that they're all the same position group. I mean, I know Sam was kind of there too, and he's
Mm-hmm.
not a tight end, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's kind of cool that they all play the same position and they're all like, I don't know, like buddies, and I don't know, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And I asked Schroeder, I was like, how are you friends with him? Because you're not even in the same grade. And
Right.
he's like, I don't know. I just started hanging out last summer. He said I started hanging out with them more and more, and it just happened.
Yeah.
So we'll
Hmm.
see what happens next year when they're all gone and he has to be alone.
Yeah. He probably quit football.
Just be a lax bro.
Yeah. Oh man. Lacrosse. It's funny. This is funny you bring up lacrosse. This is one thing I can talk about on the podcast I haven't talked about yet. It's
Yeah.
my distaste for lacrosse.
I don't I think I don't like hate it. I just don't understand it, so I don't like it.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
mean, I've never really watched the game by any means, but and I don't even have a good reason for not liking it,
Mm-hmm.
but other than I played rugby in the spring and rugby and lacrosse are both in the spring in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and they're kind of like both like they're both contact sports, right? They're both collision sports, and
Yeah.
like it's like the competition who's tougher type of thing. It's almost like the football and soccer thing, kind of, except soccer is not even close to being tough. But like But, like, I don't know, it's just funny. It's like, "Oh, you guys are sissies. You guys have to use weapons or whatever, and we don't wear pads." And, it was like that stupid little rivalry between rugby and lacrosse. But I also, um, think of it as a class thing too, like, as in, like, rich people versus poor people type of thing.
Yeah.
Anybody can play rugby because you literally don't need any equipment, just a ball. Anyone
Yeah.
can play because you don't
Yeah.
but lacrosse, you gotta be this rich boy who has to buy all these pads and these helmet and these fancy sticks and whatever.
Like
And
hockey.
so kinda like hockey, exactly,
Yeah.
which is so that leads me to my next point, which is me and Lexi have burned it into our children. They are not allowed to play hockey or lacrosse. So
Damn, you're limiting them already.
we are. I don't and the funny thing is that as I really do like the sport of hockey, like, I like to go watch it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any we have friends that were hockey players and all that stuff, but at the same time, I don't wanna be a hockey parent because I think hockey is especially high school hockey, it's just rough, like, they have practices at terrible times, it's
Yeah.
expensive as shit,
Yep.
and lacrosse can be the same way, but except minus the practice time thing because they just play outside, but
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. And
Yeah.
obviously, I played rugby, so I want my son to play rugby, not lacrosse.
The the ice time thing is a real
Yeah,
pain in the ass.
seriously, dude.
You better
We
have
should
friends. You better have friends that are like seniors when you're a freshman, and so they can take you.
Yeah, right, exactly. I otherwise we have to get up at, like, 3 AM in the morning and go take them. I, uh, I I I think we always talk about how if you built a ice arena in Perrysburg,
Oh yeah.
you would I mean, obviously, it's an expensive thing to run, but you would be banking because then you'd have Rossford hockey team or whatever hockey team in the area to come over, and it'd probably be pretty lucrative, but
I think so. I mean, someone would always be wanting to use it. Um, but it is a prime thing, especially right in the middle of two other ones that are you either got to go north or south.
right. And then
Yeah.
and that's look at the field houses in this area, like the Rossford Dome and stuff, like, I
Yeah.
feel like in the wintertime, that place is jam-packed, and anytime you get time, it's expensive to get time there because it's so high demand, like,
Did you
just
did your
having
kid?
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Did your kids ever play flag football through the Rossford Dome?
Yeah, Sonny did. In fact, his first 2 seasons of flag football were through there. We were the Lions twice. Um, and, um, it was fine, but I didn't feel like it was as well organized as FNA is. So I tried FNA because I heard it from, a friend of Sonny whatever, another parent, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, we do this one," and I was like, "Okay, I'll try this. Let's give this one a try." They said they like it, and
Yeah.
I like it better than the NFL flag one just because it seems more organized to me, I think. The Yeah, I don't know.
It's always so crowded. Like that's where Mateo always played, and it's always so like everything's so jam packed. There's games after
Yeah,
games after games, and
right.
then they're really late too. Like I think
Yeah,
Mateo had a game at like 10 p.m. one Friday.
yeah. Hey, I don't really like playing it outside or inside either. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it's fine if I. It, here's the other thing. I do not. I don't like year-long sports. I don't I
Mm.
mean, like, I don't like my kids playing a sport year-round.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I don't want them getting burned out on it or whatever, even though, if I let Sonny play flag football all year round, he would, but I don't want him to. I just, like I'd rather have a well-rounded kid who's well-rounded, at least athletically, like, yeah, play basketball in the wintertime, play
Yeah.
baseball in the springtime, play the appropriate sports in the appropriate times of the year, I don't I'm not into but I say that, and he's done football in the spring several times, and
Mhm.
because he really wants to, and I hate having 2 sports at the same time. It drives me crazy because schedules are annoying and all that stuff, but
What's he doing now? Is he doing anything now?
he's doing flag football and he's doing soccer. So he wasn't even gonna do flag football. The plan was to be like, no flag football this year. You can do soccer if that's what you want to do, and
Mhm.
then you can do flag football in the spring or something. And then of course the coach um, of the team, he has all the players that we had in the spring, and we had a pretty good team. And he's like, "Man, we could really. What do you think? Like all these kids are doing it, and blah, 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 what do you think?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. Like I don't really want him to do 2 sports at the same time."
Mhm.
And then I asked Sonny, but of course I was like, I'll ask Sonny though, see what he says. He's like, and of course he wants to do it because all of his friends are doing it.
Yeah.
So like Justin Fonke's kid and whatever. So I was like, fine, you can do it, and I'll help coach.
I was gonna say, are you coaching?
Yeah, I refuse. I've done the head coach of the flag football several times. Like when he did the NFL flag, I did that, and then I
Yeah.
did it with FNA the first season, and I hate it. I don't. I just I get more nervous about that stuff than about like coaching when I was the head coach of 7th grade football. Like I was more relaxed about that stuff than I don't know why, that doesn't really make any sense, but I I just did not like it. I don't like communicating with the parents. I don't like scheduling practices, and I don't like being in charge of all the stuff. I don't want to be like the guy that has to come up with the offense. That's the other thing. I don't like being the offensive coordinator of the team either because I
Oh,
feel like I don't know.
that's the fun
Which is
part of
funny
flag
because I do
football, though.
that in JV. I do the offensive play calling. That's
Hi.
Penny.
Do you want to see my card?
Yeah, let's see it. Nice. Does that say her name? Lexi?
What does it say? Does it say Lexi? Is that what that says?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not mom.
Yeah, not mom.
Yeah,
Lexi. Yeah, why does it say Lexi? You call her mom. You don't ever call her Lexi.
I was copying something.
Oh, I see.
But it looks cool though.
Penny, that's a really good card. Good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
She'll like that.
What does it say? Oh yeah,
Dude.
I like that. I liked being like creating the offense. I mean, the last time the last time I did it, I think they were like first and second graders, so it wasn't like
Yeah,
complex. And as they get older, it's a little different. But
and I
yeah,
think that's why I didn't like it. It was because like at that age they can't really do anything.
yeah,
So, it's
yep.
I
It's
don't
just
know.
it's basically like one like here. This is you're looking for one person, and then you
Yeah,
throw it
right,
or hand it off or whatever. And I
right.
remember I used Huddle to like make the play sheets.
Oh, that's
So
smart.
I printed them out and everyone had like a shape or color or something. And then like
Yeah,
I just hold it up and like, all right, you're the red circle, you're the blue circle or whatever. And then
yeah,
they ran the play. But I like that part of it. But it does when you said like, hey, I don't like being in charge or being the head coach or whatever, that's exactly what's happening right now in softball, where it's like so I'm the head coach of Lillian's 10U travel softball team. But what's happening, and I love it. Like it's perfect for me. What's happening is I have 4 assistant coaches, and they are like doing everything because I come to practice late because of football, so
yeah,
I'm always late, and so they run practices. I have one that does all the finances. I have one of them that kind of is in charge of the lineups, and then we kind of all talk about it. But what I learned from years of coaching, and you know this, and you're doing it right now with flag football, is most of these coaches, assistant coaches, just want to coach the thing. Like they don't want to
yeah.
deal with parents and send emails and schedule practice and find tournaments and do all this other stuff. Like they just want to coach whatever it is that they're coaching the sport.
Yes.
And so I told them after our game Sunday, I was like, hey, I'm perfectly happy being head coach title and like team manager, and then you guys can run practices, because I have no say when I show up 45 minutes late. I have no say in like, all right, now this is what we're doing. Like,
Yeah,
you guys are
right.
already there doing stuff, so we're gonna continue to do it. Where do you need me to go? And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. Like, this is exactly where I want to be. It's perfect, because there's a lot of things I would rather not do, but I like doing this part of it, so it all works out.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of those assistant coaches. Like, well, I mean, that's why I stopped coaching seventh grade football. Like, I was tired of being a head coach of the
Mhm.
seventh grade team. I just was
Yeah.
tired of being in charge of all the stuff that wasn't football.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's exactly why I reached out to Dirk and said, hey, can I be an assistant coach at varsity? Or like, I actually asked to be a volunteer. I was
Volunteer.
like,
Yeah.
I'll take $0 to get away from doing this. So,
Yeah. And yeah.
and I like it a lot. And now that I'm doing what you used to do with the JV and doing the offensive calling and that, like, I don't think I could be any more satisfied, honestly.
I was gonna say, it's like the perfect thing, because you still get to be in charge, like head coach, but it's for 1 day a week.
Yeah,
And it's the best part of being a head coach is the game,
right.
and now the only downside of that is time, right? You get done a little bit later, but even then it's not terrible. But that, I
Correct.
liked it too, because you got to call offense and you got to do all that stuff, and
Yeah,
be in charge for a day. But you don't have, but then, like we said, you don't have to send out emails about the JV team and all that
yeah.
other stuff. It's just you show up, catch a bus half the time, and play a game.
Exactly. And the only thing, which every JV is like this, so it doesn't matter, but like that, the only thing that is not frustrating, it's not even the right word, it's just kinda like, is the fact that we don't really get to practice as a JV team
Yeah.
really ever, which
Yeah.
it is what it is. That's how every JV team is. You're worried about you're there for the varsity, so,
Mhm.
yeah. But so you go into the games and there's might be things that you wanna try, but it's like, "Yeah, we don't really have time to actually practice this," so
Just
if it's
just just
if it's
do
too
it.
much, yeah, well,
Just do.
if it's too many different things, yeah, you're right. But, like, every week, there could be, like, a new thing, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be hard to just do it all, like, "Oh, let's do this, this, and this, and this." It's like, well, actually." And
Actually,
you
we
think
can't.
and you think that, well, especially with our system, like, it seems like I feel like our play calling system and for our team is, almost like NFL-esque, where, like, every word is a tag, like,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
means this thing. So, if you just put this combination of words together, everybody should know what they're doing, but it doesn't really work that way because,
Mhm.
especially with JV players, they will forget. I don't know, it just doesn't work exactly the same. Like, they have to practice and understand that, like, whatever. When we do this and this, we're doing it this way, which is slightly different than it was just this by itself or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They're all that, because even Coach Connor would be like, "All right, do we have to tag that, or do you guys get it? Or on this play, you got to do it slower or faster or whatever.
right.
Just depending on what it is." And the varsity guys, 100% of the time, they go whatever he says. They're just like, "Yeah, we got it."
Yeah. Yeah, right, exactly. Even if they don't got it, they're just say, "Yep, got it."
Although I was surprised to see. I think there was 2 or 3 questions today, so that was nice.
Yeah, that's true, you're right. That is
Yeah,
more than normal for sure.
yeah,
I will say, and he said this after that meeting, and he's right, because me and him both, and you have too, have coached other places. Like, it is so nice in Perrysburg. Our players are all pretty smart. Like,
yeah,
we can install a lot of things, and they will be fine with it. Like,
yeah.
generally speaking, like, I know that's not true everywhere. There's a lot of people, a lot of districts, or a lot of other places where the football players are like the more stereotypical football players. Are like meatheads, and
Oh yeah,
they're not the greatest students or whatever, like, they're not quick to, like, so you gotta keep it simpler, and that's not a bad thing, and that's just, like, again, that's how most places are, honestly,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
think we're just lucky that we have so many smart kids that we can have this relatively complex playbook and run it pretty well.
Be successful with it. Yeah, because it
Yeah.
is it is like, even he, when he was filling out his sheet today, was like, "Can we do this today?" And we're just like, "Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do it."
yeah,
I mean, we don't know until we try it, right?
right, exactly. Yeah, in
And
that particular situation, I think it was nothing that was crazy that they wouldn't
mhm.
know how to do anyway.
No, especially like you said, if we're all the stuff in our play calls and new is usually something that we've done before. Just the combination of the things have never been done before.
Yes, exactly,
So
right.
they just got to do the letter and word math, and
Yeah,
figure it out what goes where, which,
right.
there are a few questions today too from my tight ends about certain things, and
Yeah.
but we'll get that cleaned up in individual. But it is cool to be like, not really hesitate when we want to put something new in and be like, yeah, I think they can handle this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the tight ends, I mean, and we've said this before, they have by far, other than the quarterback, have the most stuff to know.
Yeah.
Like they have to know, they have to know the pass game, the run game, and they have the every little, if they're on this side on this play, if they're on the back side of this play, but on the front side of the same play, it's a different assignment. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't, dude. I don't know that I could handle, and I'm a pretty smart guy. I don't know if I could have handled that in high school. That's a lot, dude. But I mean,
Yeah.
you also it's also football, so you just kind of if you block really hard and even if it's wrong, it still works out. So
Yeah. The only thing, and it gets anybody in trouble, especially when you're blocking, is when you block the wrong guy and then let him go to, and when you realize like, oh, I should have got that guy. You're like,
yeah,
okay, well
right,
by
exactly.
then you got to stay on one guy.
Yeah, it's over now. You screwed it up. Yeah, right.
You can't.
I
You
I
can't.
I will say, just talking about football, obviously in Perrysburg, like, and it's still very early, but um, I am pleasantly surprised at how well we're doing this year. I honestly did not. I know Dirk, like, it begins like, "Hey, we're supposed to be on paper, supposed to be worse this year, but let's win them all anyway." And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. It's a great attitude. Of course, that's what you think we're going into the season. But in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, we'll be good, but we'll still be good because we're Perrysburg and we're still have a lot of good players and all that stuff. But like,
Hmm.
it was, I didn't, did not expect us to be as good as we've been so far. It's been super fun.
I told him that too. Like I said almost the exact same thing, and I think, um, I think it's because like I didn't expect like our defense to be like as good as it is, and our defense is
Yes.
awesome right now, and it's the best part of our football team.
Yeah.
And finally to have a game last week against Clay that they didn't score and offense scored all the points, that was obviously much needed and a big boost to us.
Yeah.
Um, but I was in agreement with that because like I think just because you're with the team for so long and you're like, all right, is this kid going to develop? Is this kid going to develop? And we'll just take the tight ends for instance. Like I had one tight end, Landon Graham, I was pretty comfortable with, and then I had a second one that I was like, all right, well, we'll see how Schroeder does, and they're doing well. And then we have to move our tight end to tackle, and
Yeah.
then Schroeder is the number one. I'm like, okay, well, we have one tight end now, and now 5 weeks later, we have three tight ends that can work really
Yeah.
well that are because they developed and they pay attention. And I think that's what's happening with our team is they're just the more every week that goes by, you're developing, half a player, and then it takes another couple weeks and they get the second half, and
Yeah.
as we get to the end of the season, it's coming together now well, and as we get further along, it's just gonna, make us better.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I, and again, it's early. We still have our toughest games ahead of us,
Mhm.
obviously. But in some ways, I almost feel like this team might be better than the team we had last year.
That's
And
what I
some
thought too. Yeah,
yeah. And
it's
and and and
crazy.
and I think part of it is and partly I think this way because I've experienced this before, like, in my past.
Hmm.
When you have really good stud players on your team, to some degree, I feel like it's almost and it's subconscious, of course, but, like, to some degree, like, the coaches and the other players kinda rely on that more too almost
Mm.
too much, and it's like, we got Connor, or we got Grant Zimmerly, and we got this guy and this guy. It's like, we're gonna be good, we can just keep whatever. And then this year is we've had to Dirk he even said it, has been said all preseason, and it's like we gotta push ourselves to be a more diverse offense, to do more play actions and do more of this stuff because we can't just rely on Connor being Connor, right? And that
Hmm.
type of thing. And it's like because and the players know that, and the players know that too. They know like we don't have what we had last year talent wise,
Yeah.
theoretically. And so like everyone's pushing themselves to be better and it makes us better as a team. And it's fun. And I look at it from like you just said with the tight ends and our running back Nick is not. You don't look at Nick Oros in the school hallways and say, "Oh, that kid's the running back for this football team." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He
Yeah.
doesn't look the part, but he is really freaking good. And Josh Tackett's like, I swear, to me, from my perspective, he came from left field. I feel like he grew so much in the past
Yeah.
like year or two as a quarterback, and he has pleasantly surprised all of us. And um, just like, and there's endless examples of that on this team right now, and it's just super cool and it's fun. Seems like and guys have said this to me. They've said, like, "Do you feel like our team this year is, like, closer as, like, a team, like, as, like, friends and, like, has more fun together than last year?" I was like, "I don't know. That's you guys. That's your
Yeah.
locker room. That's your thing." But, yeah, I can kinda see that, I think. But if you guys feel that way, that's amazing because
Yeah.
that's the ingredients for, like, you know, a great team being very successful, and obviously, so far we have been, so.
Well, I felt good. You know, I felt good after the Marysville game, obviously, when we beat Marysville.
Yeah.
Because it is, and like Coach Connor said, it is one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're gonna win football games 17-14,
Mhm.
21-24. Like those are the kind of games we're gonna win, and that's just how we are.
Yeah.
And our offenses picked it up, but I do, to your point of like relying on those stars, like that's maybe it is subconscious, but when you're the left guard and your left tackle is going to play Division I football, well, maybe you like, I don't subconsciously have to play as hard because I have this guy over here,
Right.
or our quarterback's really good, so if I don't get to my block, he'll still get out of it and be able to make a good throw or run or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Right.
again, that's all. I might just be making it up, and maybe they don't feel that way, but it could be all subconscious. But when there isn't that like standout player, it
Yeah.
is a lot of hard work that you need to do, and I think that's apparent with Josh because he's been doing that stuff since the end of the season, and he wanted to be the quarterback, and he's doing a great job. But even when you put guys at certain places like blue ball playing safety, and
Yeah.
he wanted to be quarterback too, but now he's excelling there, and putting Lewanson at cornerback and not playing really much offense, like all these things where as coaches, we got to work really hard too when we don't have those guys, right? Like Coach
Yeah,
Connor can just be
exactly.
like, all right, we're gonna hand the ball off to Connor. It was a play last year. It must have been fourth down, and it was for sure stopped for a 2-yard loss, and he got the first down because he's Connor. And
Yes. Yeah.
so it makes you game plan more. It makes you, game plan better and scheme better, and try to come up with all these little extra things to do to figure out like what's the best thing our team is good, like the best thing
Yeah.
that they do as a team.
Yeah. It's a and that it is fun to, like, make that puzzle work, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you have these really good athletes, but where do you put them? And I think you're right. What you said earlier about the defense is so true. Like, I think a lot of people think this way. A lot of people think about, oh, the football when they think of football, they're like, oh, most people are like offensively minded,
Yeah,
right? They're like,
yeah,
oh, who's the quarterback, who's the receiver? Do you have the running back? This and that. Like, oh, we lost all those guys. Even offensive line to some degree. It's like, yeah, we don't have those guys, so blah blah blah. But then not even thinking about the defense, but in our defense is awesome. They're so
yeah.
fast,
It's so
and
fun to watch.
oh my god, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's so helpful for our team and for winning. Like, defense is so important, and it's often not given enough attention, at least not like it is obviously as coaches, but like in the more public, whatever,
yeah.
the average person's mind, including my own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think we were all in that mindset. I mean, I guess we're all offensive coaches, but like we're on that mindset. Like, man, is this season going to be as good as last season? Especially with the new league. That was another thing. Like, we have
Yes.
new teams. It's not the same as it was. So yeah,
Yeah, it's fun watching Mark Gibson on the sideline. Like it's crazy how much film they watch, and like to know
yeah,
like what they're doing on defense. And that was one of my when I first started coaching varsity football, that was one of my favorite things to do is I'd watch the offense and see if I could like pick stuff up or tendencies, or I would always run reports too on the other team to see like what their tendencies are and that kind of stuff. And I like
yeah,
doing that kind of stuff. So then when Coach Mark is just yelling out their play right before they run it, like it's so funny to me. And but it's just a cool thing to watch.
yeah. I can't even imagine. I love defense, and I want to learn more about doing defense, but at the same time, I'm not envious of how much film they have to watch though. They have to watch because, like you just said, they have to watch so much film to be good at it, right? I
Yeah, yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's different for offense. For offense, it's just kind of like, okay, what defense do they run? And
How they line
even
up.
if you can't and the thing is, you can't put too much into that because they might come out with something completely different than you expected.
Well, like
And so
last
then
week.
yeah, like last week, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, if you put that much thought and effort into that, and then they come out and do something completely different, it's like, well, you just spent all those hours for nothing. And
Hmm.
so, to some degree, when it's for offense, it's more reactionary, like on game day. Like, I mean, you game plan as much as you can for what you think you're gonna see, but
Mhm.
like you said, I mean, if they come out like last weekend, a completely different thing, you kind of have to go on the run, and that's what our jobs are. That's why this huddle silence
Yeah.
is so nice. You can look at it and see like, all right, their weakness is here. We can exploit this. We can exploit this, and maybe you didn't know you could exploit that until the game, and so really can't, as an offensive coach, put too much stuff into the film study.
It is.
But
Well, even sometimes we'll get questions like, how do you think I can't find anything on film? How do you think they're going to line up to this?
yeah,
And then
right,
and then you do your best and guess, and then we'll figure it out come game time. And
yeah,
luckily for us, we've gone against even and odd front, so we can kind of react to that if there is some differences in those things. But yeah, it
right.
is. Although the one thing I remember when we played Southview, and um and Coach Ward was like, "Man, was I wrong about number 16 or 18? I don't know, whoever caught those passes." He's like,
Oh
where,
yeah,
he was like, "Where was that guy on film?"
yeah,
So I guess that happens on defense too.
yeah, for sure. The shit, I lost my train of thought. Yeah.
Right, you're terrible.
Yeah, I know. This is you know what? This is the other half episode.
I mean, it was a whole episode.
Yeah, right.
It's just
And
there. We're at
then I
somewhere.
lost it. Yeah, it's just in the ether. So
Uh, yeah, go ahead.
are you you coming to pick me up on Wednesday?
That's what yeah. You never
I forgot
said
to
it.
respond to your text message.
Yeah, you never said anything about it.
Hmm. But yeah, maybe.
Uh,
Oh, I know what I was gonna say about that. So speaking of which,
mhm.
I s- I I hope I'm not screwing this up. It's hard. It's like every year it's a new adventure, but like I am the worst when it comes to like doing something good and nice and making Lexi happy on her birthday. Oh my god.
Well, as
Like,
long as you don't get her pissed, I think you're okay.
well, but I'm telling you, but like last year, I screwed it up because I just, with football and stuff, you're so busy and you just like
Mhm.
forget. I don't know. I'm not in the right headspace. I'm not like thinking ahead and stuff. And so
Now,
all of a
now I'm
sudden, her
nervous. Now I'm nervous for us to go out with you guys on her
no, no,
birthday.
no, no, no. We're good. I think I'm doing okay this year, hopefully.
Okay, okay.
Um, but that's my saying. That's what I was saying. Like I'm like nervous because I don't know. Am I doing enough this year? Because if I I don't want to do that. It's
Well,
awful when I don't do enough. Like
well,
because
this.
I didn't like have a cake for her. We didn't do
Uh,
the candle thing. I don't even know what I did last year. Probably nothing or not very much. And so I bombed it hard last year, and she was pretty upset. And so it's like, okay, I and it sucks because Sonny's birthday is literally 1 week before hers, so, like, the
mm,
focus gets on him, and then before you know it, it's her birthday. I'm like, "Oh, crap." Like, I gotta think about that, and not that I even do that much for Sonny's birthday, but it's just, like, there's only so much hard space up here that, like, I have a hard time planning for all of it, or whatever. So,
is so this episode will come out Thursday.
yeah.
Um, will you have everything like her whole everything be done by then, or are you guys waiting for the weekend to do something else?
Well, her birthday's tomorrow,
Yeah.
so,
Okay.
I don't know, like, I'm getting a cake for her this time, damn it, and, um, but I thought about it, I was like, I probably should have like tried to plan out dinner tomorrow, but I didn't. She actually kind of did, and I was like, and I was like, screwed that up probably, but who knows? We'll see. And then she seemed pretty tired today after work, so maybe I'm just looking into it too hard, or maybe I'm not. I don't know. We'll find out. But
Well,
but I
you did plan to have me and Andrea there, so
yeah, right. I planned out to have us go out on Wednesday, and then you guys too,
yeah.
which I think she'll like. I know she'll like because she said, "Oh yeah, the more the merrier. It'll be more fun to have other people to talk to other than each other."
I do have to. I still got to find a sitter. So although
Oh,
I just
you said you were officially in.
yeah, I mean, it's easy. I just got to call and say, hey, can you watch our children? Like it's
Oh,
not.
gotcha.
I just haven't officially did that part of it.
You haven't taken that step.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah, and so yeah, I get nervous about, and that's not. It's not even just that. It's not even birthdays. It's like Christmases and Valentine's Day and all that stuff. I'm just so
yeah.
bad at that stuff. I'm just not. I don't know if I must be not a romantic person or something. I just suck at it. And I don't know what that is.
One time, I like doing gifts, and a lot of times we basically make a handshake deal, like, hey, for Christmas, we'll get each other this little thing, or if we need something for the house, we'll just say, here's our Christmas present to each other
Yeah,
or
for
whatever,
sure. We've done that too. Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember one, I can't remember what it was for. Maybe it was for our anniversary. I think it was for, because I believe it was in the fall, and I can't remember now, either anniversary or her birthday or something. But we were really into The Walking Dead, right?
Oh,
So what I did was I had a babysitter come over, um, Chelsea Westfall. I don't know if you know Chelsea or not.
yeah. I know who she is.
Yeah. So she came over and watched the kids. This was at least 5 years ago, I think. She came over and I was like, all right, bye. We're gonna go out to dinner, this and that. And then we were on our way to dinner, and then Chelsea calls me, and Andrea can't hear it. I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay, well, I'm sure they're fine, but yeah, we'll come home. We'll come home. Not a big deal. We'll come check it out real quick. So we come home, and when we pull in the driveway, I turn to Andrea. I'm like, and I pull, it's like in the back of my truck or whatever. I pull out a Nerf gun. I'm like, Andrea, and I hand her a Nerf gun. She goes, what? She goes, I go, there's Chelsea called. There's zombies in our house, and we got to go save our children. So we both had Nerf guns, and
Oh my God, dude.
I think my sister, maybe my mom, my sister-in-law, Andrea's mom, were pretending to be zombies, and the kids were upstairs, and we had to go through the house and like shoot all the zombies and get the kids out.
Oh my
But
gosh,
it was
dude.
so much fun.
That's awesome, dude. See, I can't let Lexi listen to this episode. She's gonna see even more examples of why I suck at doing this type of thing. I'm not clever. I'm not thoughtful. I'm not a thoughtful person. I'm not good. It's funny. My job requires me to plan ahead, like all the time. That's like all teaching is planning
that's a
ahead.
majority of teacher. Yes.
Yeah, that's like your life as a teacher, and
Yeah.
I am the worst at planning ahead. I live my life like 1 minute at a time.
Yeah.
And honestly, it has its advantages and obviously it has its very big disadvantages in some ways. Like the advantages is that like I probably one of the most mentally healthy people on planet Earth because I don't get I don't really get all that mad. I don't get all that sad. I don't like I don't get anxious. I don't really think about the past, so I don't get depressed about stuff. Like I
Live
I
in the moment.
I just live in the moment. Yeah, there you go. That's the word. I just
Yeah.
live in the moment. But the problem with that is that I fuck up things like this because I'm not thinking ahead. And so
Well,
I'm not.
I mean, what's the best gift you've ever given her? Do you like get either it was a physical gift, or you planned this cool get together, or went this a
Oh
restaurant?
man, you're 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 testing my memory,
You
man.
know.
Like I just told you, I live in the moment.
Maybe I should ask Lexi. I need to ask Lexi
Yeah,
that one.
maybe she would probably be. She will say this. I know. So there's a couple examples I can think of. I know she really liked. This is funny. So there's this bench swing at Costco, or at least there was.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we go through Costco, and every time we went through, it was like, oh, there's our bench, but we never buy it because it's like 400, $500. And at the
Sure.
time, we were making a bunch of money because we're both working at Bowling Green, so it wasn't just was, and we had young kids, blah blah blah, whatever. So we never bought it and that type of thing. And then one day, one day, I'm pretty sure, and I don't know if it was even like a holiday or anything, but I'm pretty sure like we had gotten into a fight or something, or she was mad at me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I feel, and I, it's always my fault. So I, and I was like, I felt bad, and I was like, and I looked at and I'm super frugal. Like I like have a hard budget that I look at every day. I know exactly how much money I have, blah blah blah. And so I looked at my budgeting app and I was doing really well that month. And I was like, I actually have like a spare
Mm.
several $100s right now. And it's like, I'm gonna go buy that fucking swing. So I went to Costco and I bought the swing and I showed up at home that day with it on top of the van. And she's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Honey, it's our swing." And she loved that. It was a big
Nice.
surprise, and she was so happy because she really wanted that swing, and we still have it today. And
Nice.
she loved that. So that was one thing that she really liked. I did a surprise birthday party for her once, like maybe when she turned 30.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I think it was 30. Yeah. And so that was a good one too. Had a bunch of our friends over. As far as like physical, I don't know. Other than the bench, I don't know about
Yeah.
physical gifts. I'm not. I'm telling you, man. I'm not a thoughtful person. I'm not very thoughtful.
It's hard. It's hard, especially once they like. Actually, I think it gets easier when you have kids because it is like you said. Like we said already, where you can be like, hey, we need this thing for our house, or
Yeah, right.
I think there's a couple years when I get stuff from the kids to her, like it's like a knife set, or we needed a cheese grater, or we needed a new pizza
Yeah,
cutter, like that kind of stuff.
yeah,
I
yeah,
let
yeah,
them pick like a gift that they really want to give, and it's something
yeah,
silly. But a lot of times, like, hey, I think last year I got cutting boards, because we needed them, and so it's a lot of
yeah,
stuff like that. So it got easier as kids, but now a lot of times we'll do, like, that's when we'll do our trips. Like, hey, we'll count this trip as our birthday presents or whatever. I
yeah,
think that's what we did last year when we went to Florida. So like
yeah.
that kind of stuff. But I like doing it. I don't know if I'm like super good at it. I mean, I was for a while, for like years, I had an easy out where I gave her a charm bracelet one year. So then every
Yeah.
year I would just get a charm.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember I did the same thing for a little while, and I remember, there was, like, a Saturday Night Live skit
Yeah,
about
I
that
was just
actually.
gonna bring that
Yeah.
up. Yes, you're
Yeah.
like, you wear pink dresses, don't you?
Yeah. Right. At that point, I think Lexi kinda told me, like, straight up one time before that skit even came out, I think, though, but she remember one time she's like, "You know what? Like, the charm bracelet thing, it's run its course." Like, it's like, "Gotcha. We're done with
Yeah,
that."
yeah.
So,
Andrea stopped wearing it, and that's I'm like, all right, well, I guess I
yeah.
think we were on charm bracelet number 2 at that point. So
Yeah. Yeah,
that's how
right.
many charms there were. So
Yeah.
now we can look back at it and look. It's kind of like when we decorate our Christmas tree with the special ornaments. Like, oh, remember when we got this or got that or did
Yeah.
this? So
That's actually one of the gifts that me and Lexi always do in Christmas is we actually I think well, either way, we used to and we probably still do. We always get each other ornaments
mm.
to represent something that happened that year that was
Yeah, we
special.
do that too. Yeah,
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 yeah. So that's been pretty cool. Like, cause it's
yeah.
fun to like, especially when you decorate the tree every year, you like
Hmm.
pull the ornaments out. You're like, oh, that happened that long ago. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You just remember some of the things that you probably would have forgotten otherwise. And it's kind of cool.
It is very like whenever we go somewhere, we went to Texas. So when we went to San Antonio, we got an Alamo ornament. So
Yeah.
it's sitting on my dresser. So when we decorate the tree this year, we'll pull that out. But some of them too, you like I have to ask her, like, why do we have this one or why do we have that? One was just a fish, and I thought it was like a bass. And I was like, and
Yeah.
then but it was just one year we and her, and maybe we had Mateo. I can't remember, but whoever we had, it was just we like were learning to fish, and we fished a lot that year. It doesn't. I
Oh,
don't think it has a year on it, but that's what that is. And
yeah.
we have another one. It's a My Little Pony, and it's with like it's like someone hand painted a ball, and that we got by accident in the mail. It was supposed to go to somebody else when we lived in an apartment, and they didn't know they had moved. So we got these ornaments in the mail randomly from just some stranger. So now we put them on our tree every year.
Oh my god, that's funny, dude.
But
That's
it
awesome.
is a cool thing, and as we get more and more, and the kids make them at school and stuff, we have to like leave some of them in the box because we can't
Yeah,
put all
dude.
the kids ones on there because
I
they'll
know.
come home with 4 each year.
Yeah, exactly. I know it gets ridiculous. We have so many ornaments and some of them like I think last year, I think every year we do it. We're like, okay, we're never gonna we don't need these ornaments. We have so many ornaments. We don't need these ones anymore. Like, and they're like, you know what I mean? Like just generic like ball ornaments that have no
Yeah.
meaning. They're just like decorative. All right, let's get rid of these ones. We're not gonna use these anyway.
Oops,
So
it broke. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly. Yep, exactly. We should
So
probably get one this year for what we might have got one last year or whatever year it was when we got Carlos.
oh,
What and so we should get another one that somehow is like an ornament representing us getting rid of Carlos.
just put whatever. It's like a little black dog with like a handkerchief on a stick, like he's a hobo walking away.
That's awesome. Oh my god, that's a great idea. I gotta find that ornament. Oh my god.
You got to find somebody on Etsy who does personalized ornaments.
Yes, exactly. We do. I mean, we do some silly ones, man. Like I could see us getting her or I getting an ornament this year for like of a shower because we just redid our shower this year.
Oh
You know what I mean?
yeah, we
So
had one. It was a starfish. We went to Florida several years ago. It was a starfish painted like Santa. That's just
that's funny.
what it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
So did you get her something also this year?
For birthday, you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So I talked to her about it. So this is why I think I'm doing okay this year because I clearly showed her that I was thinking about it well in advance. because like a week ago, like over a week ago, so even before Sonny's birthday, I'm pretty sure, or maybe it's
Mhm.
right around that time. I asked her, like, so like speaking of your speaking of birthdays, what do you want for your birthday? Like, and I even had on my phone a note of something she said she wanted
Yeah.
as a gift one day. So and she said it like a couple weeks ago or something. And I was like, do you want me to get you like her and Penny got permanent anklets, like
Mm.
so permanent jewelry. I guess that's a thing now or whatever.
Okay.
Although Lexi has broken her anklet twice because she's like she grabs her leggings to pull them off or pull them up or something, and then she accidentally does
Oh,
it, she breaks it. So I was like,
yeah.
maybe she just turn that into a bracelet for you so you don't break it so much. So I was like, "Do you want me to get you a permanent bracelet?" And she's like, "Yeah, maybe that's a possibility." But then yesterday, she brought up wanting to get another tattoo.
Oh,
So maybe I'll pay for her new tattoo or
yeah.
something like that.
There
So
you
we'll
go.
see. Sonny wanted to buy her some kind of Lions gear. That's because he got like so much Lions stuff this year for his birthday.
Oh, I bet.
And again, we're all on the bandwagon right now. So
Yeah.
um he actually looked it up. He looked up on on the internet for something Lions related, and he went to the NFL shop website and found like a tank top that was a Lions tank top. And he's like, "Do you think Mom would like this?" And I'm like, "And it's kind of sexy." I was like, "Yeah." I like
Yes,
that.
perfect. Well, I like
Let's
it.
try
Yes.
that. So that's actually so funny enough. That's actually why I'm late onto this podcast today, is because that happened like right before this, and I was like, all right, I gotta finish ordering this before I forget or whatever, and I gotta get to ship here at least at a decent time. So it's supposed to
Yeah.
be on Wednesday. So that's
Well, nice,
Sunny
man.
and Penny's gift to her.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are
So
doing all right.
I'm doing okay, right? I'm not like screwing
Yeah.
this up, right?
No,
Okay.
that's good. That's good.
I
Yeah.
think I just feel I'm second guessing myself because Lexi came home today and was not like a happy camper, and I think
Uh,
part of it was just that she was tired from work, but maybe also it's football season, so like not around as much, and the kids
yeah.
wear on her and stuff. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
who knows? I
Yeah. I had to go tie a bunch of braids yesterday on a Barbie doll because Andrea was just like, but she didn't say like, "Hey, can you go do it?" But I could
yeah
tell. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go mess with it. Not a big deal."
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try my best when I come home from football to be like on top of it as much as I can and try to relieve her of duty. So
Yeah. I definitely don't sit down when I come home.
yeah, no,
Even if I'm not doing anything, I'm just like, if I'm moving a pillow from one side of the couch to the other, like I want to like, okay, what's we got
yeah,
laundry. Like, yeah, yesterday I did 4 or 3 loads of laundry. Like,
yeah.
so like I try to do, especially on the weekends, because it is a lot, and I think we've talked about it before. It is a lot for our wives to deal with when we're in
It is.
football practice.
For sure. I mean, and she's said this, we've talked about this, me and her, but like, before she had basketball season, so there was sort of a trade-off there,
Yeah.
But that's not there anymore. She's not coaching basketball now. So it's like
Hmm.
she's like, I need to find something else so I don't resent you. And it's like, because if you have this fun thing that you like to do, or like coach football,
Yeah.
it's for me. Like I do because I really want to do it. It's not. It is. I mean, obviously we get paid for, it, but it's not like that's the reason I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's so she's like, so she's talked about like maybe joining like a tennis league or something in the
Oh,
wintertime, like the tennis center. I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. You should do that for sure. Because
you should
I
tell
mean, I want
her.
her to be happy. I don't want. I mean, just as much as she wants me to be happy with doing the football thing, I
Yeah.
want her to be happy too. Because I definitely don't want her being pissed at me because I did the fun thing and she has nothing or whatever. So
You should definitely have her talk to Andrea because she could probably do something like that too.
oh really?
I always try to tell her like she needs a hobby. She needs something to do,
Yeah.
and
Would
she
she play
just
tennis? You think?
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know. Maybe. We're
or
gonna start
bowling?
CrossFit soon. So
You're starting CrossFit soon
yeah.
at
Mateo
the
at Fort
Fort.
Max CrossFit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mateo wanted to start working out. I'm like, all right, well, I always wanted to do this CrossFit thing and we can all do it together.
yeah,
Which like you can't go to Planet Fitness. You got to be 13.
yeah.
So like, okay, we can do this thing. So we're gonna try that out. Either this week or next week. You got to find a time to actually like go because we're so busy doing stuff.
Right.
But yeah,
I will say, like, I was never part of that gym, but we used to be part of the one on Second Street,
yeah,
and it's expensive. It's really expensive,
hmm
but that was kind of a motivating factor, like to go often because it's like I'm not spending all this money and not going. Like I'm going to do
yeah,
this, and I tell you what, it was awesome. I really liked it. Like, I mean, I've always liked physical activity and exercise and things like that. So I mean, it was easy for me to kind of get back in. It's like I forgot how much I like this because there were years where I didn't do anything really other than I used to long distance run a little bit, but yeah. And I was like, oh, I forgot how much I liked weightlifting, I guess.
Yeah.
And doing that kind of thing. And so that was kind of cool. And I got into it, but then it got to a point where we're like, yeah, this is too expensive. I don't really want to pay this much anymore for this. And I kind of got the idea now. Like I get how to do this now. The only
Oh
issue,
yeah.
the nice thing about that though is that they programmed the workouts for you. You didn't have to think. You just showed up and did whatever they said to do, which I miss that aspect of it. But I also don't miss like not being able to do it whenever I want because there's only certain times you could go and do those workouts. So
Yeah, and that's what I mean. At Fort Meg's CrossFit, they have classes 7 days a week for all age groups. But they do have classes all day until like 7:30 at night, and then they do stuff on the weekends. And and you could just go. You show up every hour. You show up, and here's the class, and you do it. And
oh, that's nice.
yeah, and they make a lot of they say they make modifications if you can't do something, well,
Yeah.
here's how you can work the same muscle group doing something else,
Right.
so I'm
So there's
looking forward to it. So
there's always a trainer there, like a coach there.
there's always
Oh,
somebody running a class. Yeah.
that's awesome, dude, that they have somebody there all the time to do that and running a
Yeah.
class. That's cool. The gym we were at, it was only like they'd have like 2 or 3 morning classes, like at 6, 7, and 9, and then like 2 evening classes at like 5 and 6, which is when most people can go. So it makes
Yeah.
sense. But yeah, that's pretty cool that it's like every hour on the hour all the time.
They start at
pretty cool.
I think they start at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., something like that, and go all the
Yeah.
way till 7:30, something like that.
Yeah. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. That's
So
cool.
we'll check it out. If you want to
Yeah.
check out their website, fortmexcrossfit.com. That'd be cool.
Shameless plug, sponsoring the Nerdball podcast.
Well, I'm not even in their office. It's too much work right now to be doing in-person videos. So
Yeah, right.
it takes me 15 minutes to edit a Zoom podcast, and it takes me as long as the podcast is to edit an in-person video.
Oh,
So
yeah,
if we talk for an hour, it's going to take me an hour to edit, even maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
they're
That makes
cooler.
sense.
They look awesome, and they're
Yeah,
but I just don't have the capacity right now.
yeah.
So.
You got to get Jerry Glanville on this damn podcast.
I know. Dirk gave me his number, and I can't find it though. Like he sent in a text, and then I didn't save it, so I don't even know. I've been in so many text chains, so I don't even know what text chain it's in or where it's at.
You failure.
I know, but I'll
You
get
watch.
it.
Jerry Glanville's gonna die, and you're not gonna be able to do an interview with him.
No, that guy's gonna live forever. He's everywhere doing something.
Dude, that was so funny when he went to the Browns game
Yeah.
with no credentials. Holy crap. That is so Jerry Glanville.
Imagine just walking around, and
It's like he's a legend. He can do whatever he wants.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on here. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow and the rest of the week. And
Yeah.
6 days
We
a
never
week.
get to talk. We never get to talk, so it's nice to do this podcast with you.
Yeah. Although it was the where were we at? Fremont Ross. It was nice. I told Andrew, I sat with Ben on the way home, but it was nice because we just talked and it wasn't about football. It was about other stuff. So
Yeah, for
was
sure.
good.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks again.
Yeah. Take it easy, dude.
See you. Thanks again to my guest, Ben Marshall, for coming on the podcast today. Like I said at the top, you came on super short notice and had a lot to talk about. It's always good having a great conversation with him. I mean, we talked about a bunch of different stuff. I did like the Perrysburg football talk was good. How he always screws up his wife's birthday, or seemingly. I think he just reads too much into it, but that was cool. It was kind of funny listening to that. So, Lexi, if you're seeing this, hopefully your birthday was good and happy birthday. And yeah, so again, like, review, share, subscribe wherever you're hearing this podcast. Reach out to us as nerdballpodcast@gmail.com on all the social media. It's Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, Twitch channel that I haven't used in forever. Then just search the Nerdball Podcast. You'll see this logo right here. If you're on YouTube, you'll see I'm pointing to my hat, giant hat with a giant logo. Just like that thing wherever it's on. And yeah, keep downloading. Keep downloading, even if you don't listen, or even if you don't want to listen to the podcast, just hit download and just throw it in your feed. Hit that mark played. Good to go. You helping out the podcast there. So 200th episode coming up. Like I said at the top, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. 3-year anniversary coming up. 2 big milestones. I got to sit down and figure out if I want to do anything special or what I want to do. So we'll see what happens. As always, thanks to Real JP Multimedia, Cuttlefish Graphics, the Perrysburg Junior High STEM Lab, and Big Daddy Graphics for always helping out the podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.